upgraded in any way. Odyssey was holding her right shoulder.
The Indiana Fever finally got the playoff win fans had been waiting on for years. But of course, the WNBA found a way to turn that big moment into drama. Instead of the spotlight being on Lexie Hull's game-winning steal or the clutch plays from Kelsey Mitchell and Aliyah Boston, the story shifted to a run-in between Sophie Cunningham and a league security guard. Sophie, wearing a big leg brace and clearly not close to playing, wasn't rushing the floor or causing any trouble. Still, a security guard acted like she was out of line and barked at her as if she'd jumped into the middle of a fight. In this video, we'll break down what really happened and what Sophie said that has people talking. But first, do you think Sophie is being unfairly targeted? Let us know in the comments below.
Chloe, she's like that. She's like that. She ain't moving. Oh, and then she puts her hands on the hip. Let me talk to your manager. Oh, shit. All right, Sophie, say no more. Say no more. Now, when your teammate gets injured, you're allowed to hop on the court and just to see if your teammate's doing good. So, injured, healthy. So, Chloe, Sophie, they had every right to be on the court over here.
Here's the big question everyone's asking. Was this just an overreaction from an overzealous security guard, or does it fit into a bigger pattern we've seen in the WNBA, where certain players get treated differently if they don't match the league's preferred image? Looking at the history, it's hard not to feel like Sophie was singled out. Her response, calm but firm, showed she wasn't about to be pushed around by someone acting like a hall monitor. This moment should have been nothing but celebration. The Fever, even without Caitlin Clark and several key players like Ari McDonald, Sydney Colson, Chloe Bibby, Didi Dantas, and Sophie herself, managed to pull off a dramatic playoff win. Fans were on their feet, the team was buzzing, and the atmosphere was pure post-season excitement. Instead, the scene turned strange. Sophie, standing in her leg brace at midcourt, was suddenly confronted by league security, aggressively, without cause. No fight, no rule broken, nothing that called for it. Yet somehow she was treated like a problem instead of part of the celebration.
Why in the F is that security guard all up on Sophie Cunningham? And look, I think there is a reason she got up in Sophie's face. And I don't think there was any need to sort of bow up to Sophie like that. I don't think, and to Sophie's credit, she did not back down at all.
Think about how that looked. Sophie Cunningham, clearly injured, wearing a brace, and not even able to run if she wanted, was being pressed by a security guard who seemed determined to turn nothing into something. The cameras caught it all, Sophie's face shifting from confused to annoyed, to that signature Cunningham glare fans know so well. It was like she was saying, "Seriously? This is what you're doing right now?" And honestly, she had every right to. The clip hit social media in seconds. Within minutes, Sophie's stare down was everywhere, and the response was loud. Fans weren't mad at Sophie. They were furious at how pointless the whole thing was. It didn't look like rule enforcement. It looked like harassment. And for Sophie, that stings even more because it feeds into a narrative that's followed her whole career. She's always cast as the villain, even in moments when she's done nothing wrong.
So Odyssey Sims goes down hard. And Sophie Cunningham, Caitlin Clark, Chloe Bibby are waiting for her at half court. And the cop tries to get Sophie Cunningham to move. Sophie Cunningham was like, "You're not going to get me to move. I'm waiting for Odyssey." And you could see during the review, look at Sophie Cunningham clapping, not moving, waiting for her teammate. That's the Fever for you.
Why? Because Sophie doesn't play by the WNBA's script. She speaks her mind. She questions the narratives. She's bold, unapologetic, and refuses to tone herself down just to make others comfortable. And for that, she's been singled out, not just by rival fans and media, but now even by the league's own staff. This is the same Sophie Cunningham who constantly trends on social media, whose highlights rack up views, and whose fan base is one of the most loyal and vocal in women's basketball. She's good for the game. Yet instead of embracing that energy, the WNBA often treats her like a problem. After the incident, the internet lit up. Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, everywhere you looked, people were calling it out. Some straight up said, "Sophie gets treated like this because she doesn't fit the league's image." Others pointed to deeper issues, noting the double standards at play. If Angel Reese or Paige Buchers had been in Sophie's spot, the story would have been framed completely differently. Passion, leadership, fire. But Sophie in a leg brace? Suddenly, she's the villain. Fans weren't having it. Hashtags like #FreeSophie and #WNBA Exposed were trending within hours, showing just how fed up people are with the way she's portrayed.
Folks, I didn't realize how much fun I would have watching these people break down. It's a meltdown. It's a meltdown on Twitter today. It's embarrassing to a certain extent. Not for me, for them. And then we got the Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever getting booed as they're getting off their court.
And here's the twist. Sophie never even escalated things. She stood her ground, yes, but she didn't blow up or make a scene. She simply held her spot, gave that icy glare, and refused to be pushed around. In doing that, she actually showed more professionalism than the security guard who created the confrontation in the first place. That's why the clip blew up online. The drama didn't come from Sophie, it came from the league. And if you start connecting the dots, this isn't the first time we've seen something like this. Remember when officials claimed they felt uncomfortable with Dana Carrington and suddenly security was brought in? The league scrambled to defend her. The Players Association backed her up. Media outlets framed it as an example of unfair treatment. So here's the question. Why the silence now? Why is it that when Sophie faces almost the exact same situation, the only people calling out the double standard are fans? Where's the league's leadership? Why is the Players Association quiet? The contrast is impossible to ignore.
Check this out right here. Yeah, you see this guy right here? Right in this genital area? You see this guy? The ref asked this dude to step out here. All right? Now, Cheryl Swoops wants this referee fired. She wants him fired. Look, he felt something. He felt something was amiss. Of course, Cheryl Swoops is defending Dejanay Carrington.
This isn't just about one security guard going too far. It points to a bigger issue the WNBA keeps running into: how it treats players who don't fit the mold. Take Caitlin Clark. Since her rookie year, she's been hacked, shoved, taunted, and targeted on the court, while refs look the other way and the league acts like it's no big deal. Then there's Sophie Cunningham, who's been labeled the villain for years, no matter what she does. Put those stories side by side, and a pattern starts to emerge. The WNBA struggles with stars who don't fit its preferred narrative. Instead of highlighting them, the league sidelines them. And that's the real shame, because both Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham are exactly the kind of players the league should be lifting up. Clark is the biggest draw in women's basketball history. Sophie, even when she's sidelined with an injury, still generates buzz and engagement. They're both marketable, both fan favorites, both vital to the sport's growth. Yet instead of protecting them, the league allows refs and even its own staff to mistreat them. Fans see it, they call it out, and it fuels frustration, not just with one moment, but with the WNBA as a whole.
Hate Sophie Cunningham because she's white, she's beautiful, all these things, right? Let's keep it real. Let's keep it 100, as they say. Sophie Cunningham is the most beautiful woman in this league. All right, she's the hottest woman in this league, and they're mad they can't be her.
The backlash came fast. Within hours, fans were everywhere in the comments, blasting the WNBA for embarrassing Sophie during what should have been a moment of pure celebration. People pointed out the double standards, like when the league once tried to investigate fans for booing Angel Reese, or when they shrugged off blatant fouls against Caitlin Clark as just part of the game. The same pattern is playing out here. Selective enforcement, selective outrage, selective protection. And every time it happens, the league loses credibility. Let's be clear, this isn't just bad optics, it's bad business. The WNBA keeps saying it wants growth, respect, and mainstream recognition. But how can that happen when the biggest headlines come from viral clips of players being hassled by the league's own staff instead of highlights on the court? Fans don't tune in to see their favorite stars silenced, sidelined, or treated unfairly. They tune in for basketball, for passion, competition, and celebration. That's what people want to see honored and respected.
I completely underestimated the feelings that I would have watching all of the Indiana Fever haters crash out. All of the Caitlin Clark haters, all of the Sophie Cunningham haters, anything to do with the Indiana Fever, the people that are just so quick to hop on Twitter and say something negative, to hop on media and say something negative, to take credit away. I underestimated how good it feels watching these people crumble.
And this is where the story really blew up. The more fans talked about Sophie's run-in with security, the more they started connecting the dots. They began pointing to the bigger pattern, the double standards, the mistreatment, the lack of protection for players like Clark and Sophie. What started as a viral clip quickly turned into a full-on case study of everything fans say is broken in the WNBA. The leadership, the officiating, and the league's warped priorities. That's where the conversation shifted from frustrating to downright revealing. Because Sophie Cunningham isn't just another injured player sitting courtside. She's fiery, outspoken, and refuses to conform to the league's carefully polished image. She doesn't bow to approved narratives, she doesn't dull her edges to make media coverage easier, and she definitely won't play the role of a smiling mascot just to fit in. She's not Paige Bueckers, the league's hand-picked heir to Caitlin Clark. She's not Angel Reese, the league's built-in controversy magnet. Sophie is something different, something they can't box in. And that's exactly why she's been a target for years.
Poor Sophie. She got the contraption on. She looks great in a ball cap. Let's just keep it real. We're keeping it 100 here, as the kids say. And here we go. Right here, she's at mid-court. And then Paula Blart, mall cop, what are you doing? Well, I mean, what you doing? She got a leg brace on, for crying out loud. You come out here trying to be Brody and trying to do something, knowing damn good and well. Look at this police officer sauntering up.
Here's the real irony. What makes Sophie a problem for the league is exactly what makes her popular with fans. People connect with her because she's authentic. She's unfiltered. She says what others won't. That kind of energy is gold for a league trying to grow its audience. It's relatable, it's marketable, it's engaging. Yet instead of leaning into it, the WNBA keeps trying to downplay her presence. Just look at the marketing. How often do you see Sophie front and center in league promos? Almost never. And yet her name trends constantly, her highlights pull views, and her interviews get shared more than players the league invests twice as much effort into promoting. And the double standard is glaring. When Sophie gets into a dust-up, she's painted as the villain. But when Angel Reese does something similar, it's packaged as passion, swagger, leadership. Fans see the difference, and they're not buying the spin. So when an injured Sophie, leg braced and all, got barked at by a security guard simply for standing with her teammates, it felt like the hypocrisy hit rock bottom. There was no reasonable explanation, Just the uncomfortable truth fans have already started saying out loud: Sophie Cunningham is being singled out.